Alright, y'all, season 1 of Loki is in the books. You want to talk about that finale?
Yes.
Then let's get the conversation started. Hello and welcome to LexiCon Reviews Loki, exclusively for our YouTube channel. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff here. And also check out the main podcast, which drops every Sunday at our new home, anchor.fm/LexiCon Podcast. And of course, you can still check out all the archives at lexiconpodcast.wordpress.com. And we're slowly but surely getting them all uploaded here on YouTube as well. So lots of places for you to check us out. But for right now, we're talking Loki, and right off the bat, spoilers!
Spoilers!
In case you have not seen episode 6 or any of the previous episodes, and you don't want to know what happens, go back and watch them, then come back and check us out.
Yes.
For all those that remain, welcome. Let's talk about Loki episode 6.
Yes.
This was a great way to finish off the season satisfactorily and set us up perfectly for another season. I think they did the job perfectly. I'm not going to say it's necessarily my favorite episode. I still think last week's may have been slightly better if we're going to rank them, but this was really good. It was a great wrap-up to the first season. It left me satisfied and wanting more at the same time is exactly what you want to do. And in the end credit scene, as it were, they confirmed season 2 is coming.
I completely agree with what you just said.
I'm not necessarily sure this is my favorite series. I mean, especially since it's not one and done like the others. It's
Yeah.
easy to look at WandaVision and say, okay, I was disappointed. It's easy to look at Falcon Winter Soldier and say that was really good, you know. But it's not as easy to say. I really like the first season of this, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. But I don't necessarily want to call it my favorite season as much as I don't necessarily want to call this my favorite episode. But I was extremely satisfied with the way it wrapped up.
Yes.
And with what it leaves with. And I have to say, too, I love Kang. I mean, I'm so looking forward to Ant-Man 3 now more than I ever was just to see him come back. I mean, he is right up there with, like, Claw and Killmonger, and OG Loki is like my favorite Marvel villains.
I've been looking forward to this.
And we got him pretty early on too, you know.
We did.
They make it to the fortress and the elevator opens and it's, oh my god, that's Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, he's not. I wasn't 100% sure it was him, but I was sitting like, oh my gosh, that's the King dude, isn't it?
I gotta say too, Eric Voss from New Rockstars, he must have been coming from all the shit he got right. I could practically hear him orgasming all the way across the country, wherever he is, like, oh, I got it all.
Lol.
I mean, it seemed like he called so much from this episode.
I personally hadn't seen any of his stuff about Loki.
Don't fucking say that. We're fans of theirs.
I usually watch, but I just hadn't seen this stuff somehow.
in his closet.
Lol.
I like the theory Matt Pat had though about Renslayer possibly being.
Yeah.
She was gonna. His idea was that she was gonna follow them to the fortress at the end of time and get stuck there, and it was gonna set up the whole time loop for her to be the one that started the TVA. He just suggested that she was gonna be a version of Kang, and I even commented on the video that I like the idea, but be better if she was just she who remained, you know.
Yeah.
Which we got He Who Remains, but it was Kang.
Can we talk about when Miss Minutes just popped up there?
I did like when she called out He Who Remains. I'm like, I looked at Dylan like, oh, we're getting He Who Remains. It's not going to be Kang. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But they made them one and the same. But I do have to say, I didn't like that scene all that much, other than that one call out, because it was hard to really grasp the full weight of the situation when they're literally talking to a cartoon clock.
I don't like Miss Minutes.
With an obviously put on Southern accent too. It's like, come, this is a joke, right?
Look, I know they're talking to Twilight Sparkle, but still.
Wait, it's just the rejected Applejack. Yeah, I know when she popped up, I just sat there like, why are you here? Please leave.
I do not want you
but
here.
Then when we get Kang, which he's never actually called Kang in this episode, but we know that that's who it is.
We know it's the actor who's already been announced to play him in Ant-Man 3. He refers to himself as Conqueror.
That's what I was going to say. He's listing how he's been
Kang's
called
color
these
scheme.
different things. Yep, the purple and
He
the
has
green.
his powers for, you know, all intents and purposes.
Yes. I'm very excited. We now have we officially have Kang.
You know, it's not that I don't like a good surprise when it makes sense and leaves you satisfied, you know, and doesn't just come completely out of nowhere with no.
Yeah.
With nothing pointing to, like, well, okay, I get it now. It's just like, wait, where did that come from? But I mean, I enjoy a good surprise, but I also like getting what we expect, too.
Exactly.
It's like everything was leading to Kang, and we got Kang. It wasn't even a wait to see you next time. It's like, we got him. It's confirmed.
Yeah. I think that was part of the disappointment from WandaVision for me, was that we didn't get what it felt like it was leading up to.
Mm-hmm. And Falcon Winter Soldier, we did get what it was leading up to, Sam being Captain America, even though you could argue maybe we didn't really need the series to get him there, but at least it did have a payoff, which is another reason I like it better than WandaVision, another reason I like this. But, that was one of the few things that we did get a real payoff for. There's a lot left open, too.
Yeah. That really is.
Mobius came back to confront Renslayer, and she disappears to who knows what.
Yep.
At first, it seems like she's going to be fighting to save the TVA, and then her last line to him is she's going in search of free will, so who knows what she's off to do.
True.
Or who she's going to become in the MCU. We did sort of see a little bit of her backstory, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Because B-15 goes back chased by other TVA agents to Franklin Roosevelt High School.
Yeah.
Where that pin, from whence that pin came. And we see the actress who plays Renslayer. She's the principal there, or the teacher there, or whatever. And
seems like that's what she was.
Madam Renslayer, and B-15's like, that ain't Renslayer.
Yeah.
So we don't know exactly. I guess that's her origin, but maybe she just copied that look from. We don't know. That's what I'm
True.
saying. There's a lot left for season
know.
2. They left a lot on the bone for season 2, which is great. But I'm still satisfied with what we got too.
Yes. Also, when they, with Kang and whatnot, we got a fight scene situation between Sylvie and Loki.
Yeah, I was wondering for a while. I was like, are we going to get any fights in this episode? It looks like it's going to be a real chill episode.
Yeah,
I was that action
concerned.
we've gotten from most of the episodes.
We got them using the magic on one another, and then we got a kiss.
I did not expect that kiss at that point.
I didn't, honestly.
I thought it was building up to her killing Loki. To be honest with you.
I was so scared. I was sitting there like, no, the scenes we haven't seen yet. He can't die yet, right?
Because they're in disagreement over. Because Kang basically lays it out to him and say, look, this all spawns from, and I'm not a big fan of multiverse theory. So
yeah.
I could have done without that, but obviously it was going to factor in at some point.
Yeah.
He discovered the multiverse, and then there are exact versions of him in other multiverses, and they all came to the same conclusion. They were able to work together for a while, but then there was all-out multiversal war, and somehow he managed to be the one that found Goliath and found his way to the end of time and was able to sort of prune everything and get it back to one stable timeline, which still doesn't explain why he's worried about variants other than himself.
Yeah.
But, obviously anytime you're dealing with time travel, it's going to be somewhat confusing. They made the point of, well, he's got to lead it all so that these two Lokis can come take over for him, which still seems a little specious, too, that's the grand plan. But he's like, hey, I'm fine with the other option, too. You kill me, and it's just going to be all-out chaos, and I'll come back.
Yeah.
He suggests reincarnation, but we don't know exactly how it's going to work with King. But obviously we're going to get more answers come Season 2, come Doctor Strange the Multiverse of Madness, come Ant-Man Quantumania.
Potentially Spider-Man.
I do think, I'm not so sure that either or both Lokis are who they're supposed to be, though.
Uh-huh.
We have alternate timeline Loki, the main character from the show, and then Sylvie. I'm thinking she might not really be a Loki.
That would be interesting.
Because when they're disagreeing about the best way to handle Kang, whether they should just take his offer to take over the TVA or whether they should kill him, she says, why are we not seeing this the same way?
Yeah.
And the fact that they're the same, Loki has a counter for that because she can't trust and he can't be trusted, so it doesn't necessarily mean they're not the same.
She makes the comment saying, I'm not you.
Exactly, right after she kisses him, she's like, I'm not you, and she sends him through a time door because she's taking Kang's little chrono monitor. Which let's just say he had this big circle that almost like a watch that went over his hand, very similar to the things they use in Endgame to time travel. Remember, they just have a scaled down version of it.
Nice.
But yeah, she sends him through, and she said with the parting line, "But I'm not you." So I do wonder if we're gonna find out that maybe she's not truly a Loki variant.
That would be interesting for sure.
Maybe that's the way Marvel has to justify them having a relationship.
She's actually the Enchantress.
Yeah, I think obviously there's much more story to be told here, both in future films and Season 2. So.
Definitely.
We'll see what we get, but I'm excited for where it goes. And it not well, it was good, but now we got to wait and see. I'm totally satisfied right now. It's not like, oh my god, well, it was good, but I'm totally satisfied, and I can't wait. So,
it's like I'm satisfied because I know there's more coming involving this stuff, but at the same time, I don't like cliffhangers. I just want to
But to me, there's still a definite distinction between but and and. It's
yeah.
Like, when you're like, it was good, but I got to see what... See, that's how I felt at the end of Mandalorian. I loved that scene with Luke, and I loved... the ending, and I know his whole purpose was to get Grogu to a Jedi who could train him, but the fact that he was left with no real way to contact him, and Luke didn't even tell him his name, and it just feels like, okay, it was good, but now I gotta see further on to make sure they can get back together at some point. This, I'm like, I liked it, and I'm looking forward to seeing more, but I'm cool for now. I'm not like, oh god, what? I have questions, that was the whole point of the episode.
I just want to know when
But I feel like this was just done so well. Of course, speaking of things to be settled coming up, Loki gets sent back to the TVA.
Yes.
And he's sitting there, and after a while he comes out, and we've seen Mobius and B-15 reacting to the multiverse
Mm-hmm.
Branching off.
Because it's going way off the charts, filling up the whole screen.
And Loki runs up to Mobius and he tries to talk to him and it becomes clear fairly quickly that Mobius has no idea who he is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which begs a lot of questions, but the first one for me is, did Sylvie send him back to an alternate, or did she send him forward, whatever, did she send him to an alternate version of the TVA?
That was my first thought.
Or did the TVA that he was sent to change when she killed King?
Exactly.
Both are possible. We don't know all the rules of time travel in the
Especially
MCU.
since once we see the stuff with Mobius, it then goes to a shot of the statue. It's no longer the 3, it's now
But again,
King.
we've seen time travel stories where things change. Once an event happens, it changes something else on the timeline. So it could be either
concerning.
one. But the other thing another thing that brings up to me is if she did send it back, if she sent it back to an alternate TVA, how is there an alternate TVA?
Exactly.
Because TVA should exist outside of time.
Exactly.
And at the same time,
maybe it's just
the
changed.
TVA in theory shouldn't change either if it exists outside of time.
But if King created
But obviously, yes, of course.
in my head, I had a joke. Like, I knew it wasn't going to happen, but just joking, like, since we had just seen him kissing Sylvie and her push him, I'm like, he's going to go confess his love to Mobius now.
But among the other questions it brings up, too, is why did they not know who Loki is? Has Loki just been erased from the timeline altogether?
That's also a possibility.
Is just that Loki not? So, I mean, there's a lot of questions yet to be answered, but it's exciting to see where it goes.
Yeah.
And it was a
Very
fun ride
curious
just
too.
to get here.
I'm curious to know what's up with Mobius, but also, now, seeing the finale of season 1, I'm just sitting here waiting to see, like, Kid Loki and Alligator Loki return and know what's up with them now that things are happening.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of possibilities.
Yeah, but also, there's a few scenes that we got in the trailers and stuff that we didn't get in season 1.
Yeah,
The only one I know for sure is Loki at the Asgardian throne.
Yeah.
There's also the other one at, like, Avengers Tower.
Maybe. I saw some pictures.
Oh, with him walking at him in Avengers Tower, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we absolutely sure we didn't see that in any
Pretty sure we didn't see that.
like even in the TVA storyline? Remember when TVA was showing him his history?
Yeah, I don't think we saw any of it.
I mean, I would assume one of the breakdowns we saw, like Eric Voss's on New Rockstars, would have pointed that out. But
yeah.
I suppose that's even the throne one. I suppose is possible. Could have
Honestly,
been somewhere in the background.
Because they were talking about a throne.
Well, then again, it could just be stuff. It could be stuff that's cut out, or it could be stuff that's going to show up in season 2.
Exactly.
They've already shot some footage for season 2, or had something planned for season 1 and just moved it into season 2.
I have multiple things to say now. Because with not seeing the throne scene yet while watching and whatnot, I thought maybe Kang would go and do something, and it was just going to be like a fictional imagination sort of thing. Like he was going to sort of trick them.
When they offered them the opportunity to be, happy on the timeline somewhere with everything they wanted, I thought we were going to see that sort of like, when Wanda gave Tony the visions in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, like that Polycrin thing in Suicide Squad. But then you just said something and I had a thought and I forgot.
Age of Ultron, Wanda.
No, you were talking about potentially for season 2 and filming and stuff. I know some people are talking about it's possible that they've already started filming season 2. Because Tom Hiddleston apparently in a recent interview said that on his 30th birthday he was on set as Loki and he just turned 30 back in February. But I've heard that
I'm older than Tom Hiddleston.
I'm sorry.
Dylan, I need some sad Hulk music.
I'm like half his age apparently. Anyway. But I've heard that it's also been confirmed that they were reshooting scenes for season 1 back
I'm older than Loki?
No, just Tom Hiddleston, Dad. Don't worry.
I'm older than Loki.
Loki's over 1,000 years old, Dad. You're good.
I don't think you're making him feel better.
You're only 997.
It again.
That was almost about. You're only 997. It's fine. Wow, that is old though.
We never got him saying wow.
I never expected to either.
We should have.
We never got him on a jet ski either though.
Facts. Now I'm mad.
Season 2.
But his story's not
Once
done
the
yet.
multiverse is branched off, that could have been the end. They could have had a mid-credit scene where they announced season 2, and then the end credit scene could have been a Mobius on a jet ski.
Yeah. But it's like, we could see more. And
They could have gone crazy with that. They could have had a Mobius and a Loki and a Sylvie.
They could have
and
had all kinds
They could have
of
had
things.
Loki Gator in the water. They could
Yeah.
have that would have been amazing. People would have been like, what was that?
That's gonna be the end of season 2.
That's going to be the start of season 2.
Cool.
That's the opening scene for season 2.
Probably is, honestly.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed the season. I highly recommend going back and checking it out. And again, contrasting to Falcon and Winter Soldier, where I felt like Falcon and Winter Soldier was just a really long movie, and I mean that in a good way, but it wasn't paced like an episodic series.
Yeah.
It was paced like a movie, so it felt a little weird seeing it in individual episodes, but when you looked at it as a whole, you said, okay, I understand the flow here.
Yeah.
And Loki was much more presented as an actual episodic series, clearly leading into a season 2.
Yes.
So maybe,
Which I'm very excited
maybe
about.
for that reason I would put it ahead of Falcon and Winter Soldier, but Falcon and Winter Soldier was very good too. So this
Definitely.
This is a high note, continuing on a high note, as opposed to like WandaVision, which left me kind of on a sour note.
Yeah, it's like I enjoyed it, but it had too much
felt
lead
like
up to
I felt
finish
like it
good.
ended poorly,
Yeah, and I've learned more.
and I
about
felt like
stuff
it was
behind
kind of
the
pointless,
scenes
and that everything it accomplished could have been accomplished with 5 minutes of another movie, or even just an end credit scene from another movie. Whereas like Falcon and Winter Soldier, it at least helped build Sam's character, it helped build Bucky's character, it established some other people like Isaiah and his grandson.
Yes.
You know, it laid some more backstory, even though still, at the beginning, it looked like Sam was going to be Captain America. At the end, he finally is Captain America. You know, it still felt like it accomplished way more with the time it spent than WandaVision did.
You know, I've heard with Endgame, they actually didn't tell him he was going to get the shield and whatnot. That they actually just filmed that. He didn't know ahead of time.
He didn't know his lines.
Well,
Did he ad-lib?
I don't know for sure. Or maybe, you know, I don't want
You're giving me the
to know.
shield? What? Oh, hell yeah!
But yeah, I have heard that apparently his script didn't include that. He wasn't told that he was going
Well,
to
his
be given
lines had
the
to come from somewhere,
shield
is all I'm
and
saying.
stuff.
I mean, they couldn't be sure what he's going to ad-lib.
True. It could have been that they did it, used some of that, but then also went in like, okay, now we need some lines.
I mean, if
from
he
you.
said something they didn't like, they could always re-record it.
Yeah, it could be a
And told him
lot of
All right,
things.
we're getting off topic here.
We could discuss it.
Anybody got
here
anything else they
another
want to say
I
about
want to
the
talk
season
about-
finale of Loki or the
time.
series?
I want to talk about the Marvel intro thing on this episode.
Yeah, there are a bunch
we
of
went through the
voices.
galaxy and they had a bunch of clips from previous Marvel properties.
Yeah, they had the music going over it too.
Yeah, it was the standard Marvel opening.
Yeah, but they just
It had
added
a
in.
lot of the only one I can remember off the top of my head is Thor referring to Hulk. He's a friend from work.
Yeah, they did that. They had T'Challa
Oh yeah,
saying
there were
Wakanda
tons of other
Forever.
ones. It's just that's the one that I can
think they
remember
had
being
Tony
there.
Stark saying something
I think they had
that
some
I
there, but
noticed.
I know there was one of Cap in
I
there.
know there was one of Black Widow as
There were
well.
plenty of
They
people.
actually had the entirety of every movie.
Yeah, you'd have to go back through and actually just listen.
Yeah, definitely. I just wanted to point it out
Rewind, but
because I'm
it
sure
was a cool
somebody,
opening.
possibly
I'm sure somebody
Eric
will.
Voss, will have that in the breakdown.
This is really
Voss
becoming a
will
commercial
return.
for EA Voss.
It really is. Okay, so we've given you a commercial. Do you mind giving us one? Anyway,
So what's next?
Loki season 2.
Absolutely.
I wonder what's gonna happen in season 2. Because I'm assuming Kang will be resolved in one of the movies.
Maybe not resolved. What if he's a big one? Maybe not as big as
Well, yeah, it's gonna be
Thanos,
resolved
but-
later down the line, I think.
Yeah, but Thanos was in the background for a dozen movies.
I know what's gonna happen in Loki season 2.
And if there's multiple versions of Kang, we don't know which one we're going to get in Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Everybody in this room, because I've said it 500,000 times, knows what one of those versions could be, right?
Iron Man.
Yes.
And obviously too, just because there are multiple Kangs, there's still just multiverses, period. So there's a lot of ground to cover in there and stories to be told.
Definitely. This could be happening for quite a while in the MCU. I'm hoping that Iron Lad does show up, start some stuff, does the whole thing with Vision.
You know, when I think about Mobius on the jet ski, it always makes me think of like Miami Vice.
Uh-huh.
So now that we got multiverse, it'd be nice if we saw one episode next year that was sort of like WandaVision, where it's almost like an episode of Miami Vice but with Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston in place of Crockett and Tubbs.
That would be amazing. I have no idea what Miami Vice is, but that'd be
It was like an 80s cop show, but they wore like stylish suits and had, you know, the 80s music and
That's what the entire series was.
No, you know what I want in season
Mobius and
2?
Funky Time.
I want some sort of
On
big
jet
fight
skis.
situation involving the multiverse, but I want Alligator Loki there. And I just want him jumping up, fighting people's
I want
hands
Alligator
off, or
Loki.
something like that.
I want Alligator Loki killing a multiverse Thanos.
Nah, I don't think that's
No, just jumps up,
Like,
bites the hand
bites
with the
his neck.
gauntlet, bites off the gauntlet.
Bites his neck.
his
Oh!
bite strength is that strong.
No, probably not. Maybe
It's
this is a
Alligator
different Alligator Loki. This one's even bigger.
An entire army of Alligator Lokis.
That might be a bit much. How many alligator Lokis could there be? Is that just one?
It's 1,000 is all me looking at alligator Loki, and then an alligator Loki gets a call from another alligator Loki. All the polls
How is
open up.
alligator Loki
to
getting a call?
bunch of alligator Loki.
It's just an in-game scene, but all alligator Loki.
All alligators. Everyone is an alligator. You're alligator Doctor Strange.
Oh no.
Alligator Cap.
All right.
Is that right? Are you trying to suggest that there is an entire alligator universe?
Yes.
This speculation is starting to get a little silly. Why don't you
A
share
little
some of your
bit.
speculation with us in the comments down below? And I don't know what we're gonna do next exclusively for YouTube, but of course all the main podcasts are gonna be going up here.
Yes.
And we're going to continue. We just reviewed Black Widow. Of course, you can check that out. It's up on YouTube now. And, of course, the actual podcast is up at anchor.fm/LexiCon podcast. And the next What If, I guess. I don't know if we'll do a weekly review of What If. We'll wait and see how we feel, but we'll definitely talk about it.
I'm
at
looking
least.
forward to it.
Yeah, and like Dylan pointed out, it may be more than just fanciful stories at this point. Now the multiverse is expanded. With this being the next series, maybe these technically are canon stories just to other universes.
I'm gonna say it's a possibility, especially since they felt the need to make it kind of MCU, you know?
Wait a minute. It's the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. Is going to change to the MCM, the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse.
Oh, gosh.
Alright, well, on that note, I guess we're going to wrap this up. Again, share your thoughts on the finale and what may be coming Season 2 with us down there in the comments below. And make sure you continue to check us out on the main feed of the podcast, dropping every Sunday.
Yes.
And, of course, check us out elsewhere on YouTube at VDC, AlexM3R, and God with the Game Night. And on that note, come back soon when the conversation will continue. But until then, I will continue to be Maddie.
Lexi.
Dylan.
And this is LexiCon concluded
Bye.
for all time.
Always.